members of the faculty are asked to proceed immediately to the street side of the administration building. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the faculty of Emory University as they approach from the southwest corner of the quadrangle and process down the center aisle. The faculty is wearing colorful academic gowns and hoods that represent the institutions from which they receive their highest degrees. Ladies and gentlemen, the faculty of Emory University. platform party will approach from the southwest corner of the quadrangle and process down the center aisle. The platform party is led by Professor Raymond C. Duvarney, the Chief Marshal of the University. The platform party includes the trustees of the university in their gowns of office, the President's Cabinet, the deans, distinguished university administrators, faculty and student award recipients, the honorary degree recipients, and the Bedell of the university, who is carrying the university's mace. President James W. Wagner, the 19th president of Emory University, marches at the end of the procession, wearing the gold Presidential Medallion of Office. Ladies and gentlemen, the platform party.
These proceedings are now called to order. Will all please be seated?
Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, Emory trustees, faculty, candidates, and all who have given so much to nurture and support those who graduate today, good morning. Welcome to these 163rd commencement exercises of the university. This moment marks the culmination of years of study and preparation that have gone into your degrees. The presence of family and friends here signifies the support, love, and belief in you that helped to make this moment possible. So to all, welcome to this time-honored and festive occasion. And to begin our proceedings, I now call upon the Reverend Susan Henry Crow, Dean of the Chapel and of Religious Life, to offer our invocation.
Let us pray. O Holy One, breathe into us the spirit of gratitude. May we come to enjoy and employ the gifts of education. May this gift inspire these graduates to allow the soaring of their imaginations and their intellect. Breathe vitality into these who graduate. Commencing into the world, may they find communities, friends, and ventures that will help them honor their education. On this day, may we be inspired by those we uniquely honor. These honorees have unfailingly defended, addressed, and been advocates for faithful accounts of history and human rights, literature and the arts, the natural and social sciences, the environment, mental health, freedom and civil rights for peoples around the world. Their accomplishments have brought wisdom and insight to a world weary and hungry for truth and integrity. Service to their respective disciplines stirs in us desire to seek new horizons of service to humankind. In our abundance, may we always remember and advocate for those who are poor. In our plenty, may we always find ways to address poverty in ourselves and in the world. Give wisdom to this institution and President Wagner, members of the Board of Trustees, professors, administrators, and staff, and all who work to make Emory a place with moral imagination, intellectual integrity, and teaching for the transformation of the world. Make us always mindful of those for whom poverty and violence and war make it impossible to study and learn. Deepen our yearning and action for healing and hope. We pray for peace. O God of wisdom, accompany us in all the places we will go and all that we will do. Leave us not alone to the independence of our thinking and cynicism of spirit, but give to us fellow travelers who help us remember the love of learning and the joy of giving that we have come to know in this place called Emory. Amen.
Class of 2008, you have every right to be proud of the accomplishments that have brought you to this day. And even as you have been privileged to receive at Emory an education of a kind that is not easy to achieve anywhere, I can assure you that those of us among the faculty, staff, and administration of this university have felt privileged to spend these important years with you. Each graduating class, those earning graduate and professional degrees, along with those finishing their undergraduate careers, seem to forge a distinctive identity. And that's certainly true of all of you. In your time here, you have been unusual in feeling and acting on a sense of responsibility toward those who will follow you. You have been a class committed to legacy, to understanding the unique heritage of this place, and to offering a lively inheritance to those who will come after you. People will know that you have been here because they will have the blessings of your good work. For example, during your years at Emory, you have helped to revive one great and memorable Emory tradition, one of the great traditions, Wonderful Wednesdays. You've sought to find ways to pass along to those who come after you the rich legacy of heart and mind that you received when you arrived. You planned and published a book of Emory lore and traditions to be given to every entering student to pass along the best that has been thought and done by those who come before. You've created the Synergy Corps, which in various ways spreads joy, spreads happiness throughout the campus, and you sustained a flourishing of the arts and playfulness across our campus, often in unexpected places. Some of you have helped to leave a statewide legacy, helping to rescue Grady Hospital through the organization you helped to form, HealthStat, health students taking action together. Some of you have left an international legacy by helping to shape Emory's global access principles to make certain that new drug discoveries and medical devices that come from this place will be accessible to the developing world. Thank you for all of that. But above all, perhaps you have welcomed and reaffirmed the heritage of universities as a place where difficult dialogues can happen, a place where we can welcome with equal dignity all persons, even if we do not always agree with their message. You have established with certainty that in this place, truth is no more true when delivered by a celebrity, any more than falsehood is any less vapid when spoken by the famous. You have nurtured our commitment to sustainability and our intention to bequeath to the next generation a healthy and healthful environment. In all of these efforts, you have tapped into the uniqueness of Emory, the certain quality of this community that both embraces your own strengths and acknowledges your weaknesses, all of our weaknesses, as individuals, but still invites us all to contribute without reservation to the common good, thereby making both the community and ourselves better. In recent weeks, several of your leaders have lamented, tearfully in fact, that they have not experienced in the past a community quite as supportive, as good, as loving as the one they experienced at Emory. And they didn't know whether they would ever find such community again. My challenge to them and to all of you is to underscore the truth of the matter, which is that you know that the goodness of this community is here because you have invested yourselves in it. You have committed yourselves to knowing this community intimately and becoming a part of it, its history, its traditions, its nuances. And in doing so, you have found not only a community, but you have found yourselves. You have grown to love this place because you have helped to make it what it is. So the challenge now is to continue investing of yourselves in this way, no matter what communities you may find yourselves in during the years to come. As you leave behind the memories, traditions, and expectations of reaching toward the highest calling of community, you yourselves must take these very ideals, this wisdom with you, take with you the moral blueprints of what you have helped to build here. In doing so, continue to enlarge the wonderful legacy of Emory and this, your class of 2008. The ideals of the individual members of our community are reflected also in the motto of this university, Cor Prudentis Possidebit Scientiam, the wise heart seeks knowledge. Your time at Emory has prepared you not only in the practical knowledge of solving equations, executing laboratory experiments, crafting a persuasive essay, and finding your way around an archive. Your time has imbued you also with certain virtues of the heart, as well as the mind. Virtues that you take into the world, the virtue of courage to pursue the thread of truth wherever it leads, to speak the truth with compassion. Also the virtue of justice, to judge, give appropriate due to the arguments of others, some more valid than others to be sure. The virtue of wisdom, to understand your fellow human beings and seek ways to build community with them rather than discord and animosity. The world needs you to continue to exercise and grow the compassion, the knowledge, the wisdom that you have gained in this community. Now, as you leave this place, you join an august company of over 100,000 Emory alumni spread throughout the world. And we're honored to have with us today a special band of those alumni who have demonstrated in their lives and careers the legacy of virtue and knowledge, that same legacy bequeathed to you. This group we call the Corpus Cordis Aureum, Latin for the golden core of the heart. They are clad in gold robes with specially commissioned medallions. These alumni are members of the 50th reunion class, as well as members of classes that graduated from Emory prior to 1958. Ladies and gentlemen of the Corpus Cordis Aureum, would you please stand and allow us to appreciate and recognize you? Thank you. You may be interested in a few facts about Emory graduates today. There will be 3,647 degrees and certificates conferred this day. 42% of them to men, 58% to women. I'm laughing. My script here says, pause, there may be a possible reaction from the students. 47 of the United States are represented by our graduates. 443 of today's graduates come from 76 nations abroad. And many of those flags, most of those flags, stand on display at either end of the quad. 37 of our degree recipients are over 50 years of age. The youngest bachelor's graduate is 20. The oldest bachelor's graduate is 59. And yeah, that deserves an applause. But wait, the oldest degree candidate overall is 70, receiving a Master of Laws degree. Isn't that something? But you know, through your exuberance and enthusiasm, I think we all feel young today. Students who have garnered honors and prizes, they are listed in your program. There are pages 34 through 44, 10 pages, all well-deserved. On page 33 are an additional number of students, 48, who merit special attention, 48 students who have earned 2 degrees simultaneously during their time here at Emory. I think it's worth asking those folks if they would please stand so that we could congratulate them and also have those winners of all prizes stand. Please do stand. All prizes and double degree winners. I see people checking their programs. If you have to check, you probably didn't need to stand. No, I'm kidding you. All are welcome. Representing many of the honors garnered by outstanding students and faculty members, 3 university-wide honors will be presented at this ceremony. And the details of the accomplishments of these 3 special award winners can be found starting on page 4 of the program. The first is symbolic of all of the honors bestowed on students by the university, and it is the Marion Britton Award. It is an expression of gratitude for service performed without the expectation of reward or recognition. To present that award, I call on Senior Vice President for Campus Life, John Ford.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is a pleasure for me to present the 2008 Marion Britton Award to Emory College candidate Zain Ahmed.
The Scholar Teacher Award gratefully acknowledges the long and patient work of a member of the Emory University faculty, and it is with great pleasure to present the 2008 Scholar Teacher Award to the Robert Howe Hall Professor of Law, Richard D. Freer. As Professor Freer comes forward, we have previous winners of the Scholar Teacher Award among our faculty. If they would stand while he receives his award. Congratulations. Let's get up there. The Thomas Jefferson Award. Thomas Jefferson Award is Emory's premier recognition for service to the university by a member of the faculty or administration. It gives me great pleasure to present the 2008 Thomas Jefferson Award to Vice President and Secretary of the University, Rosemary M. McGee. And as she comes forward, will prior winners of that award also stand? Congratulations, Rosemary. It is now my privilege to present Ben Johnson III of the Emory College Class of 1965 and Chair of Emory's Board of Trustees to authorize the conferral of degrees.
President Wagner, esteemed members of the university faculties and distinguished guests, on behalf of the trustees of Emory University, I take great pleasure in accepting the recommendations of the president and faculties of Emory University. I hereby authorize you to confer degrees upon the 2008 graduates, together with all appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This morning, we are honored to have on the platform 4 special guests who have distinguished themselves in fields of education, mental health, literature, the humanities, science, entrepreneurship, and philanthropy. You will find brief bios of these eminent individuals on pages 5 and 6 of the commencement program. So before we confer the degrees in course, it is our privilege this morning to present these 4 persons to receive Emory's highest honor, the doctoral degree, honoris causa. Dean James Curran, will you present our first honored guest?
Mr. President,
Mr. Dean.
I have the distinct honor to place the name of Dr. Mary Jane England in candidacy for the degree of the Doctor of Science.
Mary Jane England. Educator, leader, advocate, equally at ease in many realms, whether medicine, social service, or higher education, you have created far-reaching collaborations and partnerships. The beneficent result has been better health policy and improved health care for all Americans, especially women and children. You have helped to ensure patient care that is sensitive to the cultural needs of patients from every ethnic and social background. In your focus on community, your willingness to risk, and your imagining of new solutions for complex problems, you demonstrate selfless service to the common good. Honoring your creative and distinctive career, as well as your contributions to mental health and education, we bestow upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa. Dean Robert Paul, will you present our second honored guest?
Mr. President,
Mr. Dean.
I have the honor to present to you Mr. Ernest J Gaines to receive the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Ernest Gaines, writer, humanist, and teacher. At an early age, you determined to tell the stories of the people and place that shaped you. And for more than 50 years, you have done so with power and lasting appeal. Your classic novels explore the impact of region and history from the plantation South through the Civil Rights era. Your prize-winning fiction, translated and read worldwide, captures the stunning beauty of your native Louisiana while elucidating the complexity of the past. You have become a canonical figure in American letters. Emory has benefited from your help in establishing the African American collections here and from your contributions to the vibrant intellectual community of the arts. So, with highest regards for your distinguished achievements, we are privileged to bestow upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Dean Lisa Tedesco, will you present our third honored guest?
Mr. President,
Madam Dean.
it is my honor to present Edward O. Wilson for the degree Doctor of Science.
Edward O. Wilson, scientist, scholar, innovator, gentleman. Driven by curiosity as a boy, at 13 you discovered the first known U.S. colony of fire ants, Solenopsis invicta. It's not his fault. And he charted your course toward a seminal career in science. Your subsequent contributions have ranged broadly from the classification and ecology of ants to theories about chemical communication, the shaping of whole new fields of study, and the enrichment of our vocabulary when you introduce terms like sociobiology and biodiversity. Your work on the interconnectedness of life has revived the notion of consilience, the unifying of knowledge across the sciences and the humanities. You have indelibly influenced the fields of entomology, biology, conservation, ecology, and geography. For your eminence as a co-joiner of disciplines, it is with great privilege that we bestow upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa. Dean Thomas Lawley, will you present our fourth honored guest?
Mr. President,
Mr. Dean.
I have the honor to present to you Bernard Marcus to receive the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Bernard Marcus, visionary businessman, civic leader, philanthropist. Revolutionizing an industry, you helped found a dynamic global community and galvanized us all to renovate and build anew. Placing your passion and generosity at the service of the community, you created the Marcus Institute and fostered close affiliations with the pediatrics and psychiatry departments of Emory. Your largesse extends from Atlanta around the world, from the Georgia Aquarium to the Israel Democracy Institute in Jerusalem. Your humanitarian leadership through the Shepherd Center, the City of Hope, and the Marcus Jewish Community Center marks you as a valiant steward of positive transformation in the world. With highest regard for your business acumen, and with gratitude for your zeal for the common good, we are privileged to bestow upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Marcus to deliver this morning's keynote address. Please welcome Bernie Marcus, Dr. Bernie Marcus.
Dr. Bernie Marcus, okay. Well, that's going to be interesting because I'm going to refer to that very shortly. President Wagner, members of the Emory University faculty, the alumni, family and friends, and especially to you, the graduating class. It's a great honor to be here with you today. You know, for a 79-year-old man whose claim to fame is that I'm a marketer of hammers, I'm humbled to have the responsibility of speaking to you. By the way, today is my birthday. And frankly, I can't think of a better way to spend it. Well, that's not really true, but it's not bad being here in front of all of you and celebrating this day with you. I'd like to tell you a story first. You know, Dr. Wagner, there was another university, and the president of the university was showing a very distinguished group around this university, and he was showing the buildings. And as they came to the engineering building, and it was a lovely building, and people were saying, gee, what a great building, it's really wonderful. And he said, no, this is nothing. Wait till you see the Ed White School of Literature. And they said, fine. They got to the medical school, and the medical school is very impressive. And he said, oh, this is nothing. Wait till you see the Ed White School of Literature. And as they went school by school, everyone, he said, the Ed White School of Literature. Well, by the time they got to the Ed White School of Literature, it was a magnificent building. Granite, glass, marble, and the name Ed White School of Literature right up front. And one of the people said, who is Ed White? And they said, oh, he's one of the great writers of all time. And they looked at him and said, Ed White, a great writer of all time? And one of them said, by the way, I've been a professor of literature for years. I never heard the name Ed White. What did he write? And he looked at his eyes and he said, you don't know what he wrote? This man wrote a check. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what I do. I write checks. Now, they call me a philanthropist, but the truth is I'm just really giving back. I'm giving back to this great country, which really gave me the opportunity to achieve the success that I've had. I've had a great life. Now, how did I get there? How did I get to the point where I'm a check writer? Did my family have money? No. Did I inherit money? No. Giving your money away is a long way from how I began my life. Mine truly is the story of America and the reality of living the American dream. I'm a first-generation American who started my life in a fourth-floor, walk-up tenement in Newark, New Jersey. Oh, I hear some Newark people. My mother and father were Russian immigrants. They came to America with no money. They didn't read, write, or speak English. They came with nothing. They had nothing. But to them, that tenement was a paradise, a penthouse compared to what they had in Russia. My mother believed that America was the golden land, and wherever you put your mind to, you could achieve. She told me there were 4 things you had to do to be successful. Number 1 was work hard. Number 2 was believe in yourself. Number 3 was get an education. And number 4 is don't let disappointments discourage you. Just like many in this audience, I decided at a very early age of what I was going to be when I grow up. We were poor, and no one else in my family had a college education. But at the age of 12, I knew that I was going to be a doctor. Little did I know it was going to happen today. But I was going to be a doctor. That was my dream. By 13, I had studied all of the medical books in my doctor's office, and I knew the anatomy of the body. By 15, I was doing my own diagnosis when I went to the doctor. And by the way, I was more right than he was most of the time. After high school, I started my pre-med studies, and I was a pretty good student. In fact, I was so good that I qualified and I was accepted to Harvard Medical School. But because of quotas, and in those days, there were quotas for Jewish students, and it was 10% in medical school. I couldn't get in unless I donated $10,000 to the school. Ha, what a joke. We certainly couldn't afford that. If you took my entire family and you held them upside down, you couldn't raise $10,000. So medical school was out. I was discouraged, disheartened. My dreams were shattered. Frankly, for a time I gave up. But with the urging of my mother and my family, I realized that it was time to get back on a train to success and take advantage of the great things this country offered. I enrolled in pharmacy school, and I earned my pharmacy degree. It was as close to being a doctor as I was ever going to get, except for today. So how did I go from pharmacy school, from doing drugs? No, not doing drugs. I prescribed drugs. I did other things. How did I get from there to selling hammers? And that's a pretty long story, but it's interesting because when you think you know where your career will take you, it can turn out totally different. Let me mention here that in my years of meeting executives and successful people around the world, I have been fascinated by where these people started and where they ended. I know doctors who are real estate developers. I know real estate developers who are running medical companies. And in fact, I know one real estate developer who ended up as a U.S. Senator right here in Georgia. I know educators who are running big businesses. I know business leaders who are now teaching what they learned to students in classrooms. Maybe social work, politics. Perhaps we may even have a future president in this group. It's a possibility. Many of you are going to excel, I'm sure, and many of you will succeed in a field far from where your studies have taken you. Now, what's the moral to all of this? The message to be learned here is that there are many options in life. While you may be convinced there's only one way to fulfill a dream, you're going to find out there are many roads that lead you to your dreams. And those dreams may find you when and where you least expect it. Wouldn't it be fascinating if we had a crystal ball and we could read the future of all of you, where you'll be 10 or 15 years from now? So my advice to you is keep your eyes, ears, and minds open. Opportunities pop up at the most unexpected times and places. Are you going to recognize it? If you do, take it. I hope you, when you finish the ceremony and get on with your busy day, maybe you'll walk away with a single grain of advice that'll have an impact on you. I hope so. Let me get back to the road I took from pharmacy to hammers. Obviously, the route I took to find my way was really filled with trial and error. But I was very successful as I climbed the ladder in retailing. The ladder in retailing. Home Depot, hardware. Are you sure you're all graduating today? Is this the brightest class you had? Okay. Anyway, climbing that ladder. On that road, you've got to be sharp. one other thing my mother said, be sharp, listen carefully, okay? On that road, I learned a number of other things I'd like to share with you. And the first one is really the importance of being happy. The second is recognizing opportunities. The next is the benefit of the free enterprise system. And finally, personal desires and dedication and the role they play in success. Now, working as a pharmacist soon led me to people who gave me a great opportunity in marketing and selling. And I found that this was truly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in a marketing business, and from that day forward, I tried marketing, got involved with it, and every day I went to work from that day on was a day that I loved. And I can't tell you strongly enough how important that is. And because I loved what I did, I was good at it. And because I was good at it, I was successful. What is success going to mean to you? And how are you going to measure it? Is it going to be sheer economics? Or would you consider yourself successful when you truly enjoy what you do? And what you do, is that going to make you look forward every day to going to work? Now, not long after I found my niche in retailing, I became CEO of a major chain of home improvement stores in California. And it grew to be one of the most successful and largest in the United States at that time. And then, at the age of 49, pow, I was fired. Fired. That had never happened to me before. I was 49 years old. I had a family, had obligations, and all of a sudden, my world came to an end. A shocking end, and it was not anticipated. I was caught up in one of those corporate intrigues, and it ended up that I was the odd guy out. I was finished. And so here I was, think about it, for the second time in my life, with what was a career-ending experience. The first time, of course, was when I wanted to be a doctor. I had two choices: sit around and feel sorry for myself and complain that once again I got a raw deal, or I could move forward. From my experience early on of not getting into medical school, I learned that the way to handle and deal with life's setbacks really creates the basis of what you will accomplish in the future. I said to myself, I used to talk to myself a lot, Bernie, do the soul searching and blaming, bitch and moan, and then get on with your life. Disappointment. I want to reiterate to every single one of you that you will in your life, and I promise this will happen to you. You're going to be disappointed in something or someone, whether it is the reaction of others toward you or a circumstance that just didn't work out. Let me stress that your ability to deal with those situations will be a defining factor in your own career. How you handle difficulties, setbacks, and disappointments will form the basis of your own personal inner strength and character. Many of the people I've met in my life who've been successful have had at least one major setback that could have been a career-ending and career-changing. The ones who have succeeded are those who are able to overcome. Rather than being consumed with self-pity and blaming others for their failures, they've learned to discover why their failures happen. And they use that as a stepping stone to a more successful career and life. I know that many times when something bad happens, we have a tendency to want to blame somebody. We live in an age where people don't want to take responsibility for anything, especially their own lives. My hypothesis is taking responsibility for your own actions makes it easier to move on and create something substantive for yourself and your career. So here I was, ready to get on with my life. I had to come to some conclusions. Who am I? Do I have talent, strength, courage, foresight, and business acumen to keep going? Well, my mother said I did, and I found it. So when the answers came up positive, I decided I'd better move on and do something for myself. Deep in my heart, I realized that I was an entrepreneur, and it was time to build a company of my own. I was confident with the right people working alongside me, I could once again be successful. I already had the idea for the Home Depot. It would be a brand new concept in home improvement stores that would carry everything that anybody would ever need in order to build, maintain, or remodel a house at prices and with service you've never seen before. And I hope you all remember that. Home Depot, remember the name, please. Don't ever shop anywhere else. And if you shop anywhere else, may your toilet run forever. I leave you, that's a curse. And it's a serious one. I began to recruit people in the industry, and I wound up working alongside some of the greatest people I've ever had the privilege to be around. Along with my partner, Arthur Blank, we created the Home Depot, which today has more than 2,200 stores, sales of over $80 billion, and employs more than 300,000 people. Remember, this happened because of our free enterprise system, where in fact you can create Home Depots. You can be successful. I was. Again, I ask, what will success mean to you? Success doesn't come with easy handouts. Believe me, it's tough. You have to put your brains, your heart, and your soul into it, and you have to make sacrifices. I began this conversation with you today saying I have a great life. Mine is far from being the first Cinderella American story, success story. You can have yours too. Each of you, as you graduate, has the opportunity to have a successful life in your own field, whatever it may be, business, research, professional, or whatever your success. It doesn't have to be in billions of dollars or millions of dollars, but it should be something that gives you your own sense of personal fulfillment. As Emory students, you've had the opportunity to experience and understand the benefits that giving back can mean to you. You've all benefited from the generous contribution of people like Robert Woodruff, whose business successes helped bring fruition the university you see. He's helped to build this place and has helped bring Emory to national prominence. University, hospitals, and museums all over the United States have essentially been built by entrepreneurs. Their names are on the buildings around here, who created their wealth because of our free enterprise system, and who in turn gave back. Public philanthropy is a characteristic of American life. It has been said for generations that our desire to give back is what makes America unique. Studies have shown that U.S. citizens are the most philanthropic in the world. I know that some of you are not native to the United States. According to articles I've read, Americans privately give at least $34 billion annually overseas. And the leading source of philanthropy to other countries comes from people who move to the United States and send money back home. And that accounts for approximately $18 billion. I hope that one of the things you learned while attending Emory was the importance of creating and disseminating wealth into institutions and faculties that benefit others around the world. I read that Emory University's mission statement is to create, preserve, teach, and apply knowledge in the service of humanity. I was thrilled to read that because the most important contribution you will make in your lifetime is helping your fellow human beings. I assure you, it will be the most gratifying experience you will ever have. Believe me, I know, doing something good in this world is better than the best earnings quarter report you've ever had in business. When your profit line is measured by the lives you have saved, or the children you have helped, or the needs you have met, you can never have red ink. My advice to all of you about giving back is do it in any way that you can, whether it's personal involvement or through contributions. Just be involved with something, helping a child to learn to read, or assisting a family at a time of disaster, supporting the rebuilding of a community when a hurricane or tornado strikes, or simply holding the hand of a person who is ill or old or lonely. Your life will be so much fuller. It will expand your heart. My family's involvement in today's society is far from the hammers I used to sell. We're involved with autism, a terrible plague that's diagnosed in 1 out of 150 children here in the United States and around the world, and it's increased tenfold in the last decade. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have called autism a national public health crisis, and the cause and cure remain unknown today. We support programs that deal with the health and welfare of children with disabilities. We're involved in medical research, nanotechnology, and many other areas. Our focus right now is on our military, whether they are active or veterans, and to help get them treatments for catastrophic combat-related injuries or paralysis or brain trauma. Hopefully, hundreds of men and women who are wounded in the service of their country and their families will get the medical and rehabilitation care they need and deserve. I cannot impress upon you enough. Thank you. They certainly do, and we forget about them, don't we? I cannot impress upon you enough how critically important it is in my own personal life when I know that I've touched a life. When I go to the Marcus Institute and I see an autistic child who may not have been functioning at all, and those of you who know or are associated with people who have autism, you know when I say non-functioning, how serious that is. And after several months at the Marcus Institute, they begin to smile, they begin to communicate, and they even begin to laugh. The profound effect that has had on my own personal psyche is unbelievable, but the effect it has on the family is so much greater. As college graduates, you have so many new days ahead of you. Enjoy them and learn something new from every one of them. For you U.S. citizens, don't ever forget how fortunate you are to live in this country. This is a country where you can thrive and do great things. For those of you who are citizens of other countries, think of how you can contribute to the prosperity and well-being of those around you. Start getting involved now. Start giving back today, whether you share knowledge or money or time. Our world needs your passion, your risk-taking, your enthusiasm, your courage, your wisdom, and your leadership. I hope the lesson that you learned today is that you can do some good, and perhaps one day you'll be able to experience the good fortune and personal reward of standing in front of an audience like this as a check writer or as a contributor in some other way. Then you'll know the incredible happiness and fulfillment you get from being somebody who makes a difference. So, good luck to all of you, and may you find success and happiness in your future. Thank you.
Bernie, Dr. Marcus, thank you. Not just a check writer, he is a difference maker. Well, now we come to the point in our program for the conferral of degrees in course. Probably why most of you showed up. The deans will present their candidates for degrees in the order in which the schools of the university were founded, with two exceptions. The graduate school will have the pride of place at the end to connote the highest degree awarded in course, the Doctor of Philosophy degree. And also, degrees awarded this year to this year's graduates of Oxford College, they were awarded 2 days ago in Oxford, Georgia. Still, we should recognize all of our Oxford continuees that are here today. Please rise. Congratulations. You may be seated. Dean Paul, will you present your candidates for degrees in course?
Will the faculty of Emory College please rise, and will the student marshals please come forward? Mr. President,
Mr. Dean,
I have the honor to present the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science. Will the candidates please rise? These candidates have successfully completed their course of study and are recommended for the appropriate degrees by the faculty of Emory College.
You are heirs to a tradition of academic apprenticeship reaching back more than 800 years, and you have proven yourselves worthy of that tradition. I hereby confer your baccalaureate degrees with all appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Congratulations. And you may be seated. Thanks, folks. Dean Lawley, will you present your candidates for degrees in course?
Will the faculty of the School of Medicine please rise, and will the student marshals please come forward? Mr. President,
Mr. Dean,
I have the honor to present the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Medical Science, Master of Medical Science, Doctor of Physical Therapy, and Doctor of Medicine. Will the candidates please rise? These candidates have successfully completed their course of study and are recommended for the appropriate degrees by the faculty of the School of Medicine.
trained in the healing arts, you have demonstrated proficiency in science and technology that serve humanity. Shortly, you will assume responsibility for all who commit their health and lives to your knowledge. I hereby confer your medical degrees with all the appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Great congratulations. And you may be seated. Dean Salmon, will you present your candidates for degrees in course?
Will the faculty of the Nell Hodgson Woodruff School of Nursing please rise, and will the student marshals come forward? Mr. President,
Madam Dean,
I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing and Master of Science in Nursing. Will the candidates please rise? These candidates have successfully completed their course of study and are recommended for the appropriate degrees by the faculty of the School of Nursing.
Your profession offers something. Your profession offers the highest commitment to care of the whole person in the midst of changing demands of health care. I hereby confer your nursing degrees with all the appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Great congratulations to you. And you may be seated. Dean Love, will you present your candidates for degrees in course?
Will the faculty of the Candler School of Theology please rise? And will the student marshals please come forward? Mr. President,
Madam Dean,
I have the honor to present the candidates for the degrees of Master of Theological Studies, Master of Divinity, and Master of Theology. Will the candidates please rise? These candidates have successfully completed their course of study and are recommended for their respective degrees by the faculty of the Candler School of Theology.
you have learned to probe spiritual mysteries, to minister to the often intractable spiritual ills that afflict individuals in society, and to exercise pastoral leadership and healing discernment. It is my privilege hereby to confer your theology degrees with all appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Congratulations to you. And you may be seated. Dean Partlett, will you present your candidates for degrees in course?
Will the faculty of the School of Law please rise, and will the student marshal please come forward? Mr. President.
Mr. Dean.
I have the honor to present the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Juridical Science, Doctor of Law, and Master of Laws. Will the candidates please rise? These candidates have successfully completed their course of study and are recommended for their respective degrees by the faculty of the School of Law.
As civilization rests on a foundation of justice, you bear the obligation to establish justice ever more firmly among us. I hereby confer your law degrees with all appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Congratulations to you. You may be seated. Dean Benvenisti, will you present your candidates for degrees in course?
Will the faculty of the Roberto C. Gozueta Business School please rise, and will the student marshals please come forward? Mr. President.
Mr. Dean.
I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration and for the degree of Master of Business Administration. Will the candidates please rise? These candidates have successfully completed their course of study and are recommended for their respective degrees by the faculty of Gozueta Business School.
Accomplished in the language of trade, finance, management, you are charged to go forth to accomplish the world's business with integrity as well as with skill. You bear the responsibility for fostering greater understanding among all peoples as the commerce of nations brings us in touch with what is different and new. It is a privilege to confer upon you your business degrees with all the appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Congratulations to you. Dean Curran, will you present your candidates?
Will the faculty of the Rollins School of Public Health please rise, and will the student marshals please come forward? Mr. President.
Mr. Dean.
I have the honor to present the candidates for the degrees of the Masters of Public Health and the Master of Science in Public Health. Will the physically active and mentally sharp candidates please rise?
Seems to be most of them. As you address the endemic ills and epidemic diseases of our communities, you join men and women who have devoted their lives to making healthier society. I hereby confer upon you your respective degrees with all appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Congratulations. Dean Tedesco, will you present your candidates for degrees in course?
Will the faculty of the graduate school please rise, and will the student marshals please come forward? Mr. President.
Madam Dean.
I have the honor to present the candidates for the degrees Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of Business Science, Master of Music, Master of Sacred Music, and Master of Science. Will the candidates please rise? These candidates have successfully completed their course of study and are recommended for their respective degrees by the faculty of the graduate school.
Wonderful. Master's students, you have earned the implicit vocation of teacher, whatever your career may be. I am pleased, therefore, to confer upon each of you, the appropriate degree with all appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Congratulations. You may be seated.
Mr. President.
Madam Dean.
I have the additional honor to present the candidates with greatest breadth of mind and deepest depth of heart for Doctor of Philosophy.
Wonderful.
Will the candidates please rise? These candidates have successfully completed their course of study and the dissertations as well, and are recommended for their degrees by the faculty of the graduate school.
You have attained the highest degree awarded in course. I take great pride and pleasure in welcoming you to the ancient and honorable company of scholars, and I hereby confer upon each of you your doctoral degrees with all appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Great congratulations to you. And you may be seated. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Emory University's class of 2008. Great congratulations to all of you. And I'm now pleased to introduce to you Jay Davidson, Dusty Porter, Emory College class of 1985, and president of the Emory Alumni Association.
Distinguished graduates, as president of the Emory Alumni Association, I have the privilege of welcoming you formally to the ranks of alumni of this great university. While your cherished status as students may have ended all too quickly, You each will bear the title of alumnus or alumna for the rest of your lives. Today you join a dynamic group of men and women more than 100,000 strong. Would everyone in the audience who is an alumnus or alumna of Emory, except for today's graduates, please stand and be recognized. And now, with the class of 2008, please stand to be recognized as Emory's newest alumni. Class of 2008, we hope that you, like your fellow alumni, will maintain ties to Emory, will help build its future, and will always feel at home here. As your colleagues, we know that Emory has imparted values as well as knowledge, and we look forward to witnessing the leadership you provide in your future communities. Wherever you go, you will always be a part of the Emory community and will take a little of Emory with you. As you make your mark in the world, stay in touch, stay involved, visit often, and let us hear from you. We wish you well and congratulations.
And you may be seated. Thank you, Dusty. Graduates, as you prepare to depart from this place for the first time, or at least for the time being, I should say, cherish the memory of those who have worked so hard to help you on your way. Early in your program, pages 7 and 8, you will find listed the honor roll of retiring members of the faculty and those retiring from the general staff whose service to the life of this community has extended over 25 or more years. Together, they have served you and other students of Emory for more than 1,000 years. Will these retiring and long-serving staff, faculty and staff, please stand, and let us give them a warm round of applause. In fact, would all faculty and staff now stand so that the graduates may salute you for the knowledge that you've given them and the tremendous work that you have done. Thank you, and you may be seated. There are others we need to recognize, though. Now we need to have all parents, family members, spouses, friends, and loved ones gathered here today to stand so that the graduates can salute you for your love, your support, your guidance during their time here at Emory. Please stand. And thank you. You may be seated. Finally, as president of Emory University, I have the privilege of speaking the final official word to you. As you embark on this next chapter of your lives, I hope you will recall the words that express the vision of Emory University. Recall that your lives should be inquiry-driven, that your hearts and minds should be ethically engaged, and that the best community is one that makes room for and engages the miraculous diversity of humankind. Remember to be at work always for positive transformation of the world through your own courageous leadership, no matter what field of endeavor you work in. We're privileged to have been together during these times. But with such great privilege also comes great responsibility. To whom much is given, from them much will be required. I have no doubt that with your Emory education you will leave here and you will do well. No doubt that you will leave here and you will do well. But even as you do well, I challenge you also to do good. On behalf of Emory University, I congratulate you and wish you the very best. For myself, I will miss you, and I wish you Godspeed. Congratulations to all. And now let us all rise, if able, to receive the benedictions.
This is a Baha'i prayer for unity. O my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of thy knowledge and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily, thou art their helper and their Lord. Baha'u'llah.
The following is a prayer from the Hindu scripture, the Upanishads. Om Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara Svadhyayan Ma Pramadaha Satyana Pramaditavyam Dharmana Pramaditavyam Kushalana Pramaditavyam Bhutena Pramaditavyam Swadaya Pravachanabhyamna Pramaditavyam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Speak the truth, fulfill your duty, do not abandon your daily study, do not overlook the truth, do not forget virtue, do not disregard welfare, do not avoid prosperity, do not neglect your own studies and education. Om, peace, peace, peace.
A reading from the Holy Quran. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahu nur as-samawati wal ard. Masallu nurihi kamishkatin fiha misbah. Al-misbahu fi zujaja, nurun ala nur. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. God is the light of the heavens and the earth. The parable of his light is as if it were a niche, and within it a lamp. The lamp enclosed in a glass. The glass, as it were, a brilliant star, lit from a blessed tree, whose oil is well nigh luminous. Though fire scarce touched it. Light upon light, God doth guide whom he will to his light.
A Sanskrit chant from the Buddhist tradition. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. May our hearts and minds be fully transformed by the union of the good heart of love and compassion and the mind of wisdom understanding reality.
From the Jewish tradition, the prayer before a journey. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu shetolechenu l'shalom v'tatzidenu l'shalom v'tadrichenu l'shalom v'tagienu limchotz cheftzenu l'chaim u'lesimcha u'l'shalom v'tishlach bracha b'kol ma'aseh yadenu v'titenu lachen u'lechesed u'lerachamim beinecha u'veinenu kol re'enu Baruch atah Adonai shomei tefillah. May it be your will, Lord our God and God of our ancestors, that you lead us towards peace, guide our footsteps towards peace, and make us reach our desired destination for life, gladness, and peace. May you send blessing in our handiwork and grant us grace, kindness, and mercy in your eyes and in the eyes of all who see us. Blessed are you, Adonai, who hears prayer.
This is a prayer from the Christian tradition taken from the words of the prophet Isaiah. Everlasting God, walking in the ways of your laws, we wait for you. Your name and your renown are the desire of our hearts. In times of uncertainty, you will keep in perfect peace him whose mind is steadfast, because he trusts in you. Passing through the waters, you will be with her. Rivers will not sweep over her, for you are the Holy One, the Lord our God. Trust in the Lord forever, for the Lord is rock eternal. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. And please remain standing now for the singing of Emory's alma mater by a special commencement a cappella quintet. The lyrics are printed on the first page of your program.
In the heart of dear old Emory, where the sun doth shine, that is where our hearts are turning, round old Emory's shrine. We will ever sing thy praises, sons and daughters true. Hail we now our alma mater, hail the gold and blue. Though the years around us gather, crowned with love and cheer, still the memory of old Emory grows to us more dear. We will ever sing thy praises, sons and daughters true. Hail we now our alma mater, hail the gold and blue. We will ever sing thy praises, sons and daughters true. Hail we now our alma mater, hail the gold and blue.
Thank you. And now, with the new graduates of Emory College, please be seated. Would all family and guests please be seated as the faculty and the non-college graduates march to their respective diploma ceremonies. The locations of those ceremonies and the times you will find on page 7 of the program. And we are done. Clear the way, and let the recessional begin.